Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the Points of Articulation. My name's Dave and if you're new to the channel, welcome. Today I'm looking at the Hot Wheels Star Wars Starships Select Obi-Wan Kenobi's Jedi Interceptor. It's number 5 in the set and released in 2022. This vessel was first seen in Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, released in 2005. I know this bad boy is not in a box. Don't worry, we have a few other ships to do without boxes, and then we'll dive into all those brand new releases. We have a lot to cover, so let's get right to the review. Alright, let's go over them all. Just like in all my videos, I will go over all the major sections, and then we'll get a nice zoom in to see those fine details. So, the Jedi Interceptor here is one of my favorite vessels, for a couple different reasons, but my most favorable reason is that this is the tangible link between the prequels and the original trilogy. And this is what I mean by that. This little ship is a Jedi Interceptor. It comes from the Jedi Starfighter. There are a lot of elements that we could see here, such as the R2 unit on the side, cockpit in the center, the aft shape, and overall it still has that wedge formation, vaguely. We have our engines in the aft, and so on and so forth. But what's happening here? It's more predatory looking. We have ion cannons, laser cannons, and then more linkage points to the original trilogy, or what this will lead to, which is Imperial TIE fighters. We have our cockpit, which looks just like a TIE fighter. And then if I could open this with my nail, it has radiator panels, which aren't exactly the solar array wings that TIE fighters have, but the design elements are almost identical looking. So pretty interesting, and we'll take a look at all that in just a few. But, you know, this ship, when you think about it, is a symbol of the fall of the Republic and transformation into the Empire. Never really heard it put that way. Maybe I'm the first, I don't know, but enough of me yapping. Let's go over all the major points, because it has a lot. So I already discussed a couple of these. These long gray barrels in the center, these are its laser cannons. Looking very nice. We have our Republic symbol right there. These little knobs, these are actually ion cannons. We have our astromech droid. I believe this is R4. Nicely detailed, and it does rotate, so let's take a look at that real quick. When it comes to the astromech, it can rotate. Now see this section right here? I call it the collar. The rotation of the dome of the droid is actually hindered by this piece, but I'll show you how far it could go. So grip the head, you don't have to be super firm, but you can see the astromech will stop right there. And then to rotate it back, just rotate your fingers, there you go. And it goes about that far that way. So pretty nice. They didn't even need to do that, and I was blown away by Anakin's Jedi Starfighter. And this one's no different. Nice touch. Great, nice addition there. Moving on to the sides, we have our radiator panels. And these actually move. You can see they have a hinge on the front and then the aft. And you can see the bottom right there is also cracked. Well, not cracked, but it has a seam line because these do open up. So let's take a quick look at these radiator panels. When it comes to the radiator panels, mine's a little loose there, so you just put your fingernail in and pull it up. Same goes for the bottom. Just find the little open area and pull it out. It's really that simple. Get it in there. And the last one on this side. You can see that looks amazing. Trying to find how to hold it nicely to get that profile. There we go. Look at that. Very cool. I love the design of this ship. I know I geek out with a lot of these things, but this is amazing. So awesome. The moving parts on here are great. Now you can see right here my radiator panel is not flush. I don't know why it's like that. What are you gonna do? Moving on, we have our cockpit, which is in the center. You can see the beautiful windows, the support beams with the little paint mishap right there. And then that front viewport. And if you look, you can see each window is a little recessed in. You can see the way the light's bouncing off of that, which is a great touch. I'm a huge fan of that. Then, of course, we have our open circle fleet emblem. In the aft, we have our engines. Looking dope. And at the bottom, we have 3 rivets, 2 pieces of copyright crap, and a peg port. You know, I probably could have made that a song with the partridge in the pear tree, but let's keep it quick today. So anyway, everybody, that's all the major parts of this ship. It's a beauty. So now let's get a close-up view. All right, for a close-up view, we're going to start on the right-hand side of the ship, work our way to the left, cockpit, the aft, and then underneath, we'll also look at the radiator panels and R4 unit. So let's begin. So starting on the wing, we could see some nice line work, nice paneling, looking very nice. And you can see there is some shapes in there. We have our ion cannon right here. Looking good. Coming up to the radiator panel. Looking sharp. Very nice. Now I showed this off with Anakin's, but in this section here, this little collar, you can see there's some detailing in there, which is pretty cool. I like that quite a bit. Looking at it from the other angle, you can see it has a slight curve to it, which is pretty neat. You can see how the light bounces off of there. Just fantastic stuff. Looking at that ion cannon again, you can see it's nicely molded. Pretty sick. We have some molding on the side as well. Nothing super cool, but enough that it works. In the front, you can see some nice molded details there. Looking cool. And don't worry, we'll get to the laser cannons. For the other side, more line work. Republic symbol. The ion cannon. Looking really cool. And just the paneling around the astromech looks fantastic. You can see on the sides is the astromech's arms, or legs if you will. Not painted, but they are molded in. So that's pretty cool. And we have the rest of the paneling. Nice in that collar section. Pretty cool. Now for the mechanism, for the wing, you can see it is just a little pin. No real detail in there. And on the side, just like before, slight molding. We have our ion cannon, looking really cool. And then it's sort of rounded all the way to the tip. So for the laser cannons, they are molded very nicely. It isn't just one tube, but rather different sections. And I dig that. I think it adds a lot to the model. Underneath, it's really nice. And if you're wondering, nope, just round it off on the tips. So for the astromech, you can see its eyes or sensor. We have the little projector right there. Everything else is just painted on. There's no real molding besides the sensors and projector. If I turn it like this, you can see all the pieces that protrude out. The rest is just a dome. We're lucky we have those details, to be honest with you. I think they did a fantastic job. The paint's a little off there, but at the size and distance, you're never even gonna know. Nonetheless, it's pretty neat. For the interiors of the panels here, if I open them up, you can see there is detailing on a main ship. It's very nice, some panel lines and line work. And then if I open up the bottom here, come on, there we go. There is some negative space, which is a nice touch. You can see my finger right through there. Pretty cool. Now for the paneling itself, we'll see if I can get in there. So I tried to get the lights as good as I could and zoom in as much as I could without losing the fine details and it getting all blurry. But you can see there is some nice stuff going on here. We have our support beams, and then we have our radiator panels, which look like a waffle. Pretty cool. And that's the same for all 4 panels. So all in all, pretty nice with the wing sections. For the cockpit itself, just look at that recessed windows. Pretty slick in the front there, nice and rounded. We come up to the top. Oh, little fuzz there. You can see the windows are recessed in slightly. Little paint drippage right there, but on the whole, I'm in love with the shape of this. We have some nice paint and a nice recessed window back here. And it comes on this side. Looking really cool. Moving on, let's go to the rest of the cockpit. We can see some beautiful line work and paneling. Around back here is where the detailing starts to get a little rounded from the paint. I've said it time and time again, but it is there. And it's good. Nice. Coming back here, we can see some nice designs. Nice molding underneath this little hood section. Then we have our engines, which if you look close, we have a couple sections on the right and left, which are connected to the main engines. And they're pretty neat. Nice little doodads. The engines themselves look fantastic, recessed in a little bit at the tubes inside of the thrusters. Painted pretty well. Nice touch. For the actual thrusters themselves, you can see some nice molding. Again, it's a little rounded due to the paint, but you can see a couple little pipes and whatnot attached to it, which is pretty sick. Going down the main body on the ventral part, you can see our rivets, copyright crap, peg port for the stand. Little molding underneath the window right here. Nice touch. And you can see the detailing on the body itself. Pretty nice. So under here real quick. See, it's just like the top. Pretty cool. Shut that. Boop. Nice detailing on the bottom. There's our ion cannon again. Check this out. Nice molding underneath this section right here. It's fantastic. Then we have a bunch of little raised sections and raised line work coming down here. Pretty sick. It's the same for this side. Just very nice. Came out great. All in all, a fantastic looking ship. So that's everything I have to say about the mold. Hopefully I covered everything. So now let's put this baby on a stand, talk about other dimensions, compare it, and then we'll be done. Alright, looking at the stand for Obi-Wan Kenobi's Jedi Interceptor, we have a nice Republic symbol here. Jedi Interceptor in that beautiful silver. The base itself is a nice glossy black. Looking good, I'm a big fan of that. In the front, we have Star Wars and Hot Wheels molded in there. And on the underneath, we have copyright crap. You know, basically the same for every stand. Now, the second part we have to go with the base is a pylon. You snap it in like so. And just like that, you're ready to grab your ship. Place the ball in the peg port right here. And now you could turn it Could move it sideways. Basically, it adds a little flair on the shelf, and you can make it unique to how you would like to display it. But all in all, a very nice stand and a beautiful ship. Looking closer at Obi-Wan Kenobi's Jedi Interceptor, this bad boy features 9 different colors: gray, maroon, yellow, glossy black, silver, black, dark gray, light blue, and a nice gray wash that brings it all together. The ship looks beautiful. For the ship's size, it comes in at 3.11 inches or 79.09 millimeters. For the ship's weight, it comes in at 2.38 ounces or 67.65 grams. And now for a size comparison with the Hot Wheels Star Wars Starships Select Obi-Wan Kenobi's Jedi Interceptor seen in the center. I have it next to other Starships Select vehicles. First, on the right hand side, we have Anakin's Jedi Starfighter, loving that yellow. And on the left, we have another Anakin Jedi Interceptor when he goes to Mustafar, which is green, and this thing looks amazing too. And for an added bonus size comparison with Obi-Wan Kenobi's Jedi Interceptor seen in the center, I have it again with some other Starship Select vehicles. First, on the left-hand side, we have the T6 Jedi Shuttle from Ahsoka, looking very nice. And finally, on the right-hand side, we have the Republic Gunship. And I love how all of these have that maroon and tan. Great color choices, love the Republic color scheme. If you would like to see reviews of any of the ships I showed today, check the links in the description below. And that does it today for my review of the Hot Wheels Star Wars Starships Select Obi-Wan Kenobi's Jedi Interceptor. Again, it's number 5 in the set and released in 2022. What more could I say, everybody? The mold looks fantastic. Little paint issue here and there, but it's not too bad. And it has a lot of moving parts, which I greatly enjoy. Sure, it's a repaint, but it's cool nonetheless. And you can't forget, it comes with a great stand that unifies it with the rest of the collection. So that's everything I have to say about this great ship today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button. And as always, thank you so much for taking time out of your hectic schedule to watch my content. I greatly appreciate it, and I hope to see you next time. Bye, everybody.